Well, hello, third grade. Welcome back to school at online school after hopefully a long and restful winter break. I'm glad to see all of you again. And we are still in the middle of theme 7, which is talking about how the earth moves and how things on the earth can change. And we're in the middle of a story about Yellowstone National Park. Okay, so let's get started. So, just so you remember, we were in the middle of talking about Yellowstone National Park, which is a gigantic park out in the middle of Wyoming. And it is just a gorgeous place, I've heard. I've never been there. Some of the landforms or really interesting things about the earth that you can see there are called geysers. And we're going to talk today about why there are geysers in Yellowstone National Park. And what do you think would be the attraction or the thing that would be the most interesting for you to see there? Um, so let's open up our books. I don't remember what page we are on, but let's open up our books to page 228. And it looks just like this. I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit. It says geyser country. The same volcanic forces are still active beneath Yellowstone today. Yellowstone's surface today. These forces produce geysers. And here's a little picture of a geyser that you could see in your book on page 228. A geyser is a hot spring or a hot pond of water that shoots water high into the air. Yellowstone has more than 300 geysers. That's more than any other place in the world. The conditions at Yellowstone are just right for creating these amazing events. First, rain and snow fall on the ground, as you can see here. The water trickles down through the cracks in the rock and collects in the pools below ground, right through here. Next, deep below the surface, liquid rock called magma, that's the same thing that we saw in volcanoes, which we know is all over Yellowstone. This heats up the water. When the water boils, it rises back up through the cracks. Rock and ash fall into the cracks to block the path of the water and creates a pressure. If you've ever seen somebody shake up a bottle and then try and open it, this is very close to what's happening here. There's a lot of pressure inside just because there's cap on the top and there's no place for all of that extra liquid to go. Finally, the very hot water makes its way to the surface. The pressure drops. Then boiling water and steam shoot high up into the air as a geyser. So it is a really cool event. Maybe we can find a video with your group today of hot, hot, hot boiling water and steam and a little bit of ash shooting into the air. It's amazing. All right, visiting the park. People come from near and far to see the amazing natural attractions at Yellowstone. Here are some of the park's must-see attractions. Old Faithful is probably the most important. This geyser erupts about every hour and a half. The water shoots up more than 100 feet into the air. That's as high as a 10-story building. The water is over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. The Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. That's this right here. It took thousands of years to form this canyon. The water from melting glaciers carved out the Earth's crust. The canyon is 800 to 1,200 feet deep. Today, a river flows at the bottom of the canyon and forms several beautiful waterfalls. And then there are the lower falls. There are more than 40 waterfalls in Yellowstone. The lower falls is the tallest waterfall in the park. It is 308 feet high. That is an incredibly tall one. So that is Yellowstone. I know we've just barely gotten back into school, but we learned a little bit more about Yellowstone. We learned about geysers and the most famous geyser, Old Faithful. And then we also heard about a Grand Canyon, which are this river at the bottom of these huge cliffs carved out by water, and the waterfalls in there as well. All right. Getting back into our fix-up strategies. See if you can find, again, on page 229, how the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone was formed. And you can write that in this here in your page in the packet. Then read these lines from Yellowstone National Park, Land of Wonders. Next, deep below the surface, liquid rock called magma heats up the water. When the water boils, it rises up through the cracks. This was talking about Old Faithful, the geyser, remember? What do the word cracks mean in this passage? Does it mean it solves, it sounds, it crashes, or it gaps? Good readers create images. So here, you're going to be creating an image from this piece of text right here. Old Faithful is a geyser that erupts about every hour and a half. The water shoots up more than 100 feet into the air. That's as high as a 10-story building. See if you could see what, or see if you can draw what that might look like in your mind and put it right here. And that's your packet work for today. We're going to take it a little slow today, okay? I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will be talking to you soon. All right, bye.